is? For a multitude of reasons. Number one, for the reasons that Dan Graziano pointed out.
Oh, with an accent, Graziano.
Yeah,
I like it.
I
Italiano.
wrote it off the tongue. You understand? I mean, Graziano.
Graziano.
He said it best. Whoever they're going to get in the draft, Amari Cooper is likely better than. I don't think he's a bust. He had 2,000-yard seasons. I think we're finding out that Derek Carr is the one questionable commodity on the Oakland Raiders more so than Amari Cooper. That's number one. Number two, I think the system, the schemes, and the culture that John Gruden has built has been, it's put folks off. So I think that Amari Cooper has wanted to leave since John Gruden arrived. That's number two. Number three. Who you got if you're the Cowboys? Cole Beasley. He's got 33 receptions. Your next leading receiver's got 13 catches on the season. Okay? So when you look at it from that perspective, what Amari Cooper brings to the table, I'm going to tell you the bad part. The one bad part about Amari Cooper arriving. Are y'all ready?
What's the bad part?
Yeah.
It puts even more pressure on Dak Prescott.
Because
Jerry Jones was talking about Dak Prescott. Listen, Ryan, because you just did excellent analysis on Get Up prior to this show, and you're phenomenal at breaking down those plays and what's happening on the board there. Appreciate you, you young whippersnapper. Here's the deal. I watched this guy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm watching the Redskins.
Well, we'll correct you.
Weekend. It wasn't just 8 men in the box sometimes. Sometimes they put 10 up in there. They basically said, Dak Prescott, we ain't worried about you or you. You ain't nothing. This is what they're saying to Dak Prescott. I'm not saying that. That's what the Redskins were saying. So to me, Amari Cooper's arrival has put the spotlight on Dak Prescott more so than Amari Cooper.
Listen, I agree with that, but I believe in Dak. I think he's solid.
So
I don't think he's great, but I think he's solid.
So do I.
Look, this was a bad idea to trade a first-round pick. I understand why Jerry Jones did it, because he's not a good GM. But he does recognize that, and he's essentially the GM, he does recognize that the NFC East is up for grabs. The Dallas Cowboys, their offensive line is still solid, not what it once was, but still solid. They have a great running back. They have a good quarterback. They have some okay receivers, but they just don't have a number one receiver. And their defense is coming along. So they look around and go, this is a high-leverage moment for us. This can be a high-leverage play for us because Amari Cooper is big, strong, fast, runs routes well, can catch the ball. He's the best available lead wideout. He's better than Dez Bryant has been for years. Okay? So I get you want to go get this guy, but a first-round pick.
First-round draft?
Like there's no expression, a fool and his money are soon parting. But in this case, a fool and his first-round pick are soon parting. A first-round pick, what's Patrick Peterson going to go for now? A zero-round pick? Like, what is there something above a first-round pick?
He got to go for two.
Patrick Peterson sitting there going, damn, I wanted to get traded. Who's going to afford me now? And you're going to have to, Amari Cooper, not only do you trade the first-round pick for him, you're going to have to pay him. He's coming up to get paid. So I understand the logic in it, but the Dallas Cowboys clearly overpaid here.
Well, so the Dallas Cowboys have done this before with Joey Galloway and with Roy Williams. And I think it was the smart thing, and I don't mind the first-round compensation because you're talking about a guy who's 24 years old. It's not like he's up in age. He's going to make $411,000 this year. But this is a decision that tells about how much money can we waste in the future. Because you're talking about the pressure on Dak Prescott. It's an evaluation process. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm the Jones family, I want to see what you can do with the receiver we think is the number one. With the receiver who won the Biletnikoff with over 17,000 yards coming out of college. He's had a 1,500-yard NFL season. This is a guy we know has all the tools to be an elite number one. You can't evaluate Dak Prescott with Cole Beasley being the number one. With Michael Gallup, a guy you're waiting to come along as a third-round pick. And on the other end of that, you're still in a position in the NFC East where you have a chance to win it for all the reasons you said, Max. So if you can go out and make a trade, or if you can go out and acquire a person in a position of need that actually has the talent to help, you have to do it because you also don't want to waste money on Dak.
Well, let's be very, very clear. You brought up the $411,000. Whatever you have to pay Amari Cooper, it ain't going to be that damn much. Not with the last 2 years being questionable for him. Even if he shows up and produces for the Dallas Cowboys.
$10 million a year?
Well, let me explain. He's going to cost them probably about $13 million. Possibly
about $20 million.
That's what he kind of did. It was reported 13. But what I'm saying to you is that if they decide to re-up him, take care of him, what have you, he doesn't have the strongest degree of leverage because of the baggage he came from Oakland to
Yeah,
Dallas with.
there's also
Yeah, well, some of that's right, some of that's wrong, but he's got all kinds of leverage. If the Dallas Cowboys don't want to pay him, I guarantee you he can be well paid because Amari Cooper, well, he's right now sitting at third in receiving yards in the NFL. And when you consider that one of the games he got hurt in and only played in 3 plays, yeah. Amari Cooper has been a godsend. You see how Amari Cooper changed the trajectory of the Dallas Cowboys. You went from questioning if Dak Prescott was even an NFL quarterback. You know, Jason Garrett's job was saved. The Dallas Cowboys season was saved. And you look at it now where the Dallas Cowboys are looked in a totally different light. If Amari Cooper did not come here last year, we may be looking at a totally different team, different coaching staff. Maybe even the Cowboys start looking at a different quarterback. You don't know because things were literally that bad. And you look at this and you say that that trade was well worth that number 1 pick. At the time, I remember when the trade was made, and we were having discussions between me and other YouTubers about you don't give up a number 1 pick. You know, that is money in the bank. And we've done that in the past, and it blew up in our face. Because you want to get a guy who's young, who fits your system, that you're drafting, that you're not having to pay a whole lot of money to. Because when you draft somebody, you've got 4 or 5 years where basically you don't have to worry about negotiating. You're getting them young when they're hopefully healthy, faster, stronger. And so making blockbuster trades for aging veterans a lot of times doesn't work real well, Philadelphia Eagles. But this one worked out. And after the 2 trades that we did with Roy Williams and Joey Galloway, this one was spot on. And I bring this back up because, well, it's a year later and we're looking at it now and it's like, yeah, he saved the Dallas Cowboys. You start thinking because Tuesday is the trade deadline. And you start saying to yourself, is there a move out there that we can do for our defense to have it have the same kind of impact like Amari Cooper? Because when you start thinking about this, okay, let's say hypothetically the Cowboys end up 10-6, like we were last year. You're talking about a draft pick that's late first round, which you might as well say is a second round pick. If you can get a player that solidifies the defense or takes your defense to another level that is young, maybe you look at making that kind of trade. Me, for one, I'm okay with my linebackers. My secondary, Byron Jones is actually playing better than he did last year at this time. I was surprised looking at the numbers, but it's true. Jordan Lewis needs to be playing more. You're looking at DeMarcus Lawrence, who had a slow start, and I think it's because of the shoulder surgery and not having all of that work in the offseason that you would normally have if you were healthy, that he's getting his legs underneath you. Robert Quinn has been everything above and beyond what you'd hope for. You're getting, valuable minutes from guys like Hayter, who's coming along and playing pretty well. You'd like to see Tristan Hill doing better. Hopefully Antoine Woods coming back from injury will help get us a push. But I still believe that we need that guy in the middle that will clog it up. And if you can find a true player that's young, that is ready to rock and roll, that maybe you start looking at making a trade. Maybe not a first rounder, but you've got to go ahead and scan the landscape, because you think about the turnaround that the Dallas Cowboys had from one player on offense. If you can find that guy that fits the system, that's hungry, that needs a change of scenery, then you got to make that move. And I can guarantee you that the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of what they're saying, they're not going to go out and say, we're open for business, we want to make a trade, because that drives up the price. You want to be subtle, and you want people to think that you don't really need it. Well, I'm not really interested. Hey, wait. Because that way you'll get a better deal. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Cowboys try and make a move. They're going to be subtle with it. They're not going to be out there like the Eagles that are like making deals left and right trying to get people. They're going to kind of keep it, and you'll just be pleasantly surprised when it happens. We'll have to wait and see if that does. I kind of would like to see a really big man in the middle. I'm Mark Holmes, and I will see you guys soon.